Hi, it's Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at the Streamplify Light 14. Light up your films, your photography, and more. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we'll be taking a look at the Streamplify Light 14, which as you've probably guessed from the title, is from the people at Streamplify, is a light, and it is a 14-inch light. So yeah, the naming structure is bang on point. Top marks for that. This is actually a really cool little product. So we've got a slimline halo light, which can be used for lighting up kind of makeup videos, tutorials, or basically just even little studio setups like what we've got here. And in fact, you'll see later on that actually that light on its own, which is just out of shot at the moment, can actually replace two softboxes with just one light. And actually I think you'll find the lighting is actually a little bit better, but let me know what you think later on in the video. But we're going to go through, do an unboxing, show you exactly what you get, look at the pros, the cons, things that possibly I would have liked to see changed, which yes, I'm sure you'll be looking at it for that bit. And we'll see if it's going to be right for you for your YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So let's get on with it. So first of all, key points, as you can see on the box there, so slim profile. It is 2,250 lumens, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically bright, very bright. Yes, very, very bright. You'll see it later anyway. You've got 3K to 6K, so that is your kelvins in lighting. So normal daylight is somewhere in the region of about 3,000 kelvins, depending obviously what time of day it is, etc, etc. And when you want kind of pure bright whites, then you go up into the 6,000s. At the moment, what we've got set up in here, the lights are somewhere in the region of about 4,500 lumens, which for us here, actually sat here, looks really weird. It looks really bluey white, but actually due to the camera and when you're filming, it kind of makes it all look relatively normal. Also, you've got 10 temperature modes. Now, unfortunately, the 10 modes are just adjustable, so you go from kind of one end of the spectrum to the other. It would have been nice to have seen some kind of display or visual output so you know exactly what your setting is, so you can dial it in with your camera. Although you don't have to worry about that depending on what camera you're using. Generally, most webcams, DSLRs or mirrorless cameras like what we're using today, or even your mobile phone, will have a thing in it called automatic white balance, which will take care of all those things for you. Also on the box says there is a ring light, it's a 2-in-1 tripod or selfie stick, and it's got 3 mounts inside, and it's designed in Germany. The selfie stick bit confuses the hell out of me, because this is an electrically powered light. It has a 2.5 meter cable, so yeah, I'm not too sure how you do selfies with it. You could use it as a selfie stick if you didn't want the light on, I guess, or you just need an extremely long cable. Anyway, we'll look at that later. On the back of the box goes through some of the more specifications on there, so size, weight, dimensions, etc, etc. I'll give you a close for that so you can take a closer look. So let's take a look at what you actually get in the box. Now when you actually receive it, when you open the box, you'll see there are essentially 4 packages, one of which is the light itself, then you've got 3 other boxes, one of which is your tripod, and the other one is your electrical cable, and the other one is your mounting hardware for your cameras, etc. So the first thing we're going to take out is going to be our power cable, obviously pretty important. So this is a powered unit, as I said, so you'll get one obviously with the right plug for your particular region. Comes with a nice right angled connector on there, so it goes in, doesn't stick out far, excellent stuff. We're about 2.5 to 3 meters long. Obviously, if you do want it longer, you can use an extension lead, just a regular 13 amp extension socket is absolutely fine. But yeah, excellent. I like the fact they've included a cable which is actually long enough to plug in to the light with the socket being slightly out of the way, straight out of the box. Also in that same box was a remote control, so the light is actually controlled remotely, which is excellent. There are controls on the front of the actual unit itself, so you've got a nice little touch control, so you can adjust that, you'll see that later, but you've also got the remote control, so if you've got everything set up and you've right in your frame, right in your ideal position, your camera's locked on, and you look at the lighting, you're like, oh, no, that's a little bit wrong. Grab your remote control and you can adjust it all from here. Next up is going to be our camera mounting equipment. So there's a selection of things which you can use. So whether you're using DSLRs, whether you're using a webcam, a mobile phone, you've got it all covered straight out of the box. Now in terms of value for money, just from the bits which are included, I really do struggle to see how they've managed to fit all this into one package. And in fact, they've packed it into more than one package. So if you want to buy just the Light 14 itself in its kit, then you can pick those up for somewhere in the region of about £60 here in the United Kingdom. We'll put some links in the video description so you can check it out in your local areas. You can actually buy it as part of a kit. So Streamplify, their whole kind of ethos is basically making streaming and video work affordable, which is excellent. So if you do want to buy it as part of a set, you can buy it with the Pro set, which comes with like the webcam, the microphone and all that kind of other stuff. We've done videos on pretty much all of the kit, so if you want to check out that, there will be a playlist link below. Anyway, back to the accessories. So this one here is going to be your DLSR or mirrorless camera type mounting system. So that has got a 1/4 inch thread. There is a butterfly screw, so you can adjust the top and also the top. You've got a bit of rubber on there as well to protect your camera, usual kind of stuff. These on their own, generally, if you're going to pick one of these up on Amazon or B&H, something like that, you'll be looking at paying somewhere between £10 to £15 just for this alone. Next up, there is our adjustable camera mount. So this is going to be for things like your iPhones, Android phones, all that kind of stuff. So this has got adjustment on there, so you can get nice wide phones up to about 76mm, I believe it is. It's all rubberized, padded as well, so it's not going to scratch or damage your phone, so no worries there. Easy to do as well. There's just a twist on the back, ball socket, so that just plugs into there, snaps into place, tighten it up, and then you've got your swan neck mounting. At the bottom, you've got a cold shoe mount and also an adapter there, so if you want to, you can just unscrew that, take it off. So these can be replaced should you want to put some other type of adapter on there. So it's just that typical 1/4 inch thread, so you can adapt it however you see fit. Another option, if you want to have a kind of a more stable or less flexible system for your mobile phone, then you've got this one. So this is a more rigid version. Same sort of deal again, you've got that stretchy section there. Thumb screw on the back to tighten it all up, so you can mount it however you want to. I guess most people will probably mount it that way round, although if you're one of them TikTokers, then chances are you're going to have it in portrait mode, but yeah, entirely up to you. There's also another 1/4 inch thread on the base there, so you can use it with other sections if you want to. And then you've also got this ball mount as well, which again is on the 1/4 inch thread, so that just unscrews. This is a slightly more lightweight version, so again, perfect for things like your iPhones, Androids, webcams maybe, that sort of stuff. Undo the thread and you can pose it however you want to. Again, cold shoe mount on the bottom, absolutely brilliant. I should also mention as well, you do get a quick start guide, but to be honest with you, it is pretty much self-explanatory, so yeah, not a lot needed there. Then we actually get the tripod itself. So the tripod itself is actually massive. So even if you're doing content, you're stood up, then you can do it that way very easily, or possibly even desk mounted. So you just open up the tripod and mount it onto your desk, however you see fit. Got a bit of adjustment on there, thumb screw as well to tighten it all up. There is also, in the middle, a little leg there, so you can adjust that just to give you a little bit more stability if you're on a slightly uneven surface. So that is all very cool. All this has been made very nicely. It's a lightweight aluminium, so obviously don't be putting extremely heavy cameras on there. It probably really isn't designed for that kind of thing. But again, you've got to think, this is around about £60 for this kit. If you take into consideration kind of £10, £10, £10, £15, remote control, this, and we haven't even got to the light yet, you can see where the value is in this already. Now to adjust the actual tripod, very simple and straightforward. You have also got on the top another 1/4 inch thread mount, so you don't have to use it with the light if you don't want to. You can just use this as your standalone tripod for filming. And adjustment wise, you've got these clamps. You've probably seen these before, but yeah, it just extends and extends and extends, and it's massive. So basically this, when it's fully extended and it's fully upright position, if you were to stand in front of it, this bit here will effectively come basically up to your kind of nose or mouth height. So if you think then you've got the light on top of that as well, even if you're 6.5 foot, this is going to be fine for you stood up. Obviously, if you're sat down at a desk, you can adjust it however you see fit. The next part of it is obviously going to be the light, because all of this stuff is great on its own, but you do need some light to go with it. So you do get this really nice Streamplify bag for sticking it all in. I must say I'm not entirely convinced how this all works, because the bag itself is fine for the actual lamp, as you can see, fits in there very nicely, but I'm not entirely sure if with the actual tripod as well, whether that's going to fit in. It does on an angle, so yeah, you might actually damage the plastic, so I'm not entirely sure if you'll get it all in there. Certainly the bag is included, you can use it to transport everything if you want to. I'm guessing a lot of people are just going to leave this set up in their little home studios or wherever it is and just leave it as it is, but it's nice that you can potentially travel around with it as well. The bag does also come with this as well, so this is a shoulder strap, so you can just hook this on to the side. So if you don't want to use the handles, you can just use a shoulder strap, stick it over your shoulder, walk along with your camera bags and all that kind of other good stuff. So let's take a look at the actual light itself. Now, as you can see at the moment, it's turned off because otherwise it will do crazy stuff to the camera when you're looking directly at it, because that is not really what it's intended for. But you can get a good idea of what it's all about. So you've got this really nice diffuse section. There's over 70 LEDs in here, so you get a really nice diffusion. You can't actually see the individual LEDs at all. You've got a touch sensitive section on the front. So in order to use these, you've got the brightness, plus and minus. Makes complete sense. Obviously, just press it, hold it, press and hold, it'll go through the various settings. The one that I didn't know, which really confused me to begin with, and it doesn't actually say in any of the manuals or literature that I found, is the little Streamplify logo in the middle is your on-off button. And it's not a case of just tapping it. You do have to physically press and hold it for a good few seconds for actually to turn on or turn off. Now, the reason behind that is because that button in the middle also is for going through the quick presets. So when you've got it set up and turned on, you can press that briefly and you can flick through the presets, as you're probably seeing from some B-roll I filmed a little bit earlier. This bit on this side is your K, or your kelvins. So this is going to adjust your kelvins from 3000 to 6000. Obviously up and down, go through the motions as you would normally. Good thing about this is it does have a little microprocessor in there, which will retain settings for a limited time. I've not had it long enough to see how long it takes for it to actually completely discharge the capacitor and lose the memory, but it does appear that it does remember your settings. So if you have got this set up in your kind of home studio setup and you've got your lighting dialed in exactly as you want it to, you can just turn it on and it will remember those settings, which is great. There is also, beneath the Streamplify button, there is a little IR receiver. Now that is for the remote control, so you do have to aim it actually at that bit, which for me earlier actually did catch me out a couple of times. I thought the batteries weren't working. Batteries aren't included, by the way, so you will need to get those yourself. That does need line of sight with the remote control. So if you've got a camera which is in front and slightly blocking it, then you may find yourself kind of going out to the side just to actually get a line of sight to the receiver there. So do bear that in mind. Moving down, so we've got adjustment here. So if you do want to use it as a selfie stick, which actually I'm going to show you now because I still really don't understand how that works. But in order to attach it to the unit, so push it over the top, over the normal mount, and then if you loosen this bit off, you can then angle that up, tighten it back up. And in theory, if you've got it plugged in, you could clearly use it as some form of selfie stick if you really wanted to. A little bit bulky and probably isn't the best use of it, but certainly in a push, you certainly could do it. Looking at the back of the light is actually where it gets very, very interesting indeed. And for some of you, this is going to be an absolute godsend. You're going to love this. So you can actually just run one power cable up to this light itself. Again, plugs into here, into that figure 8 connection. You've got your on-off switch, which is illuminated as well, so you know it's actually on, which kind of you'll know because the light will be on possibly. But what is really cool is there are 2 USB ports built in here. So 2 amp USB ports, so you can actually charge or power certain devices straight out of this without a need for separate power. So you're probably seeing some B-roll I did a little bit earlier with my iPhone. So we've got the iPhone connected and put a lightning cable, USB to lightning, into there. With the light on, you can charge your phone at the same time. So again, things like your GoPros, Androids, iPhones, basically any camera which is powered by USB, there's a strong chance you can power it from this, which is absolutely brilliant. Again, it's just one less lead that you need to worry about or to turn off or get disconnected, all that kind of stuff. And of course, for simplicity, when you're done for the day, just hit the power switch and it'll turn it all off and it'll stop charging the devices. So it's pretty handy. That's something that I haven't seen before, so I do like that a lot. Something else I do like is actually on this top section. So there are 3 cold shoe mounts. The middle one has got the 1/4 inch thread in there. The other 2 don't. So you could potentially put on here, say your DSLR camera in the middle, maybe a microphone, a cold shoe on the side, maybe some other device. Again, the only limit really is going to be your imagination and obviously the distance they're apart, but certainly, yeah, boom mics, shotgun mics, that kind of thing are going to be absolutely fantastic for that. And actually, I should show you how this works. I did do some B-roll earlier, but we'll go through it again anyway. So we'll go with the DSLR mount. So this is the slightly more kind of stocky one, a little bit more heavy duty. So you can just twist that into there, lock it in place, loosen off your screw, maybe get it towards the back so it's in the right position for you, and that's it. Then you can attach your camera to the top. So again, DSLRs, I've used this with my G85 or G80 as it's known in some places, Lumens camera, fitted on there fine. The only thing I would say is because the tripod is a little bit on the lightweight side, clearly if you're using bigger cameras with heavier lenses, then you may want to be careful with it and obviously make sure that the tripod is stable, maybe some sandbags on the legs, that kind of stuff. General stuff that I guess most of you know anyway, but just highlighting it because this isn't the most heavy duty of stands. So if you've got an expensive camera on there, the last thing you want is it for toppling over. So yeah, obviously safety first. So anyway, that is the DLSR mount on there. So we can take that back off now. And it's exactly the same deal with any of the others. So you just screwed it on. That one has actually got the cold shoe mount. So you just slide it in, tighten it up as you would do normally with any cold shoe. You've then got your 1/4 inch thread, so you can then put in your camera mount, or maybe you can use a couple of cameras at the same time. So maybe put the swan neck on as well, tighten that up, and maybe you could have a couple of cameras attached at the same time, which would be very cool for getting those different angles. Maybe you've got one camera which is giving you a close-up, one camera is giving you a wide pan shot. Again, the only limit is really going to be your imagination. And talking of imagination, at the moment you are probably using your imagination to work out actually how good this is going to look. No need to, we're going to get it set up now and you can take a look for yourselves. Okay, so this is what things would normally look like here, so with no lighting at all other than the Mike's Unboxing box there and obviously surrounding lights. Now the camera is massively compensating for that at the moment. We've got an ISO of 6400 and we're stopping down to f3.5, which is going to give you a really nice depth of field, but yeah, it's not ideal for kind of what we're doing here at the moment. So now I'm going to show you what it's going to be like with the studio lights on. So we'll put the studio lights on next. So now the studio lights are on and you can see the camera is starting to compensate. So our ISO's dropped down to 3200 and we're at f5.6. Still possibly a little bit blown out in some areas, but the camera, it will do its own thing anyway. So now let's see what it's actually like with the light on instead of the studio lights. So let's turn it on now. And there we go, there is the lighting with the Streamplify Light 14. Now immediately the lighting or the whole dynamic of the room does shift. The camera I think is still actually getting used to it. We're now at f8.0, ISO 3200. Again, obviously your camera will compensate accordingly. Probably we could stop down the ISO a little bit more. The camera might actually do that as we're going through this. But anyway, so this is my preferential lighting at the moment. This is the color that I kind of like. I think it looks really nice, and let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm not going to bother putting in any color grades on this at all. All of this is going to be straight out of the camera, so there's going to be no trickery trying to make it look a little bit better. It literally is going to be straight out of the camera because basically I'm lazy, and also I don't know what I'm doing. But you get an idea of what it's like. So let's go through some of the lighting options now. So currently, like I said, this is the one I kind of like. So let's go through some of the presets. So this is the kind of the warmer preset. Now, as we're going through this, as I'm talking, you'll notice that the white balance is going to kick in and it's going to start adjusting and it will stop looking quite as orangey and quite as yellow. It might take a little while. You can see the whites are actually looking as they should do at the moment. So with the Mike's Unboxing Light, that is our kind of reference white. Obviously the IKEA desks, which are kind of white-ish or getting off white, but you get an idea. So this is a nice warmer color. Once the camera ISO and also the white balance gets used to it, it will start looking more and more natural. Again, if you like this sort of light, it's actually a lot softer on your eyes. So because you're actually looking at the camera, the light is kind of around the camera or just above it in our particular instance. So it's actually really nice. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see it, but if we kind of zoom in and look at the eyes directly, you'll probably see the kind of the halo effect in your eyes, which is what a lot of people do like to see, but yeah, each to their own, I guess. So let's try a different color preset. So this is the very cold preset. So this is effectively, I think this must be 6,000 kelvins. This feels very cold. So again, depending on what you're doing and what you're filming, you may find that this works best for your type of content to give you a sense of atmosphere. So if you're trying to do something kind of, I don't know, maybe spooky or something, then something cold and harsh like this may work really well for you. Whereas obviously for other things which are a bit more happy or jolly, then you might want a slightly warmer preset. Anyway, so that is what this one looks like. You find actually now, I think this has actually worked out better. The camera does actually like this. So to me personally, in this room now, everything is a real bluey color. It's actually horrible, but the image on the camera does look pretty darn good. And things like the wallpaper and all that kind of stuff have actually, well, they look as they do in real life on the screen there, but they don't to me looking at them. So yeah, lighting's a very weird thing. Cameras do weird things. They don't see things quite as we do, which is why quite often you do need to buy yourself an actual proper streaming or camera light to get the best out of your camera. Anyway, let's try the next one. So this is going to be more of your kind of your ambient light. So if you've got other studio lights, you could maybe get this a little bit closer because it is a little bit dim. This is somewhere in the region of about 5,000 kelvins, so it's a little bit warmer. This is actually quite a nice light as well. Again, the camera's going to adjust. We're down to f4.5 at the moment. It will gradually, the white balance will change and you'll see the colours coming back a little bit. But yeah, this is actually quite nice. And again, the room itself at the moment seems really super dark. So this isn't hurting my eyes to have that light straight above the camera lens, which quite often when you're looking into a bright camera, you can see some people when they're filming and they're like trying to get through it because it's just so damn bright. Whereas this actually is quite pleasant. You can look at it directly. It doesn't hurt your eyes, which is always a good thing. Obviously, if you're spending a lot of time streaming. Some people stream for hours, so it could be quite bad for your eyes to be looking at that stuff. So anyway, that is the next preset. I think that's the last one. So yeah, now we're back to the kind of like the default setting. So this again is around about 5,400 kelvins, nice and bright. You can, of course, if you want to, you can adjust the brightness by clicking on the button there. Sorry, that is the color temperature, so you can adjust it in a granular fashion. So there are 10 options there you can go through. So let's go back to slightly whiter light, which I think looks quite nice. So this is super bright. And again, if I turn this off, you'll see immediately how much this is actually lighting up the entire scene. So we kill the lights, it's basically darkness. So yeah, it is doing very well. So let's click them back on. And it actually comes on quite nice. It comes on like a soft, it's not like a harsh straight on, so it kind of warms up a little bit as it goes through. Clearly, again, the camera is going to have to get used to the settings and adjust the white balance. That is the downside of automatic white balance. It takes a little while for the settings to dial in. But yeah, this is very, very nice. I like it a lot. And you can, I think we're on the brightest setting here. I think we are actually on the brightest setting there. As you go down, it gets warmer, etc., etc. So yeah, it is a very cool piece of kit. And actually, yeah, that on its bluest setting, this is very blue. It looks like we're set in the Arctic somewhere. But again, it's a little bit of fun. You can, if you want to, set your camera up manually, leave these settings on and just work with it as it is. And yeah, play around, make some atmospheric stuff going on. Anyway, let's go back to my preferred light, which is this one. So we like that a lot. So overall, excellent stuff. Again, you don't have to use it just as a light where it is now. So it's literally by the camera, lighting up the whole scene. You can if you want to. I've probably got some B-roll this from earlier, just doing some like product shots. You can aim the light over onto a table and get some really nice overall lighting on your cameras, that kind of stuff. If you're doing unboxings, reviews, and all that kind of stuff like we do. So you can get a close-up of your remote control and it'll pick up all the highlights, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm very pleased with it. So being able to power the camera at the same time is brilliant. I love that feature. That is something which I'm surprised not a lot of other people have done. It does make a ton of sense. On the downside, obviously, if anything happens to the unit, then you lose your light and your kind of charging source. But I think that's a minimal thing. Overall, sorry this video's gone for so long. I wanted to go through all the settings so you know exactly what you're going to get. Because I started off a long time ago, and I know what it's like. You look through reviews, you don't know what to get, and people just show you things and set it all up, and it looks all cool and that. But you don't actually know what to expect until it turns up on your doorstep. So hopefully in this video we've gone through, showed you all the bits, all the fittings, some use case scenarios, and also some B-roll and stuff. So yeah, you can make up your own minds. I think for around about £60, which I think it was overclockers.co.uk at the moment here in the UK, £60 is awesome. I paid, I think, best part of maybe 100, 120 for my two softboxes, which this could effectively quite easily replace. And actually in terms of flexibility and actually getting the light closer to the subject. And also we've got those multiple Kelvin levels, which those lights don't do. They're basically just on and that is it, full brightness, 5400K, that is it, job done. Whereas this, you've got a little bit of choice of what you can do. And of course you get all the accessories, the camera modules, iPhone modules, Android if you want to put those on there, the tripod, yeah, it's crazy value for money, it really is. Anyway, I'll put some links in the video description. Thanks to Streamplify for sending it to us as part of their Pro Kit, which again, we'll be doing reviews of the individual bits as we go through. If you've got any comments or questions, feel free to let me know in the comments section below. But for now, I've been Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.